Alright folks, my name's Chaz and I am going to show you in this video how I turn what I call drop pendants. I've got a couple examples here for you. These are just simple wooden pendants that you can string either by themselves or with other beads on leather cord or chain. This one is black walnut made with just a little piece of leftover wood. I think I turned a pin and had a little nub left. These are great projects that allow you to use some scrap wood rather than throw it away. This one is a mystery burl piece that I found in Cozumel and managed to get it back to the States. It's a really pretty piece of wood, pretty burl. I have no idea what it is, but it's a little different shape, more of a sort of an inverted teardrop shape. So these don't have to be any set shape. I'm going to show you how to turn this one, this particular shape here, which I call the bell shape, and then you can experiment. Now I'm going to start with a piece of wood that's approximately 1/2 inch square, and this one's about, I don't know, 4 inches long. I pre-drilled it, and I drill corner to corner using an angle block. So you guys might have seen these. It's a handy little thing that allows you to drill through a square piece of stock on an angle, and this way I don't have to measure into the center and hope that I'm in the center of the piece. If I drill corner to corner, I can be reasonably sure that my hole goes through the very center of the piece. So I'll put this over here. I've got pin jaws on my Talon chuck, and so I'll chuck this guy as close as I can. If I'm going to make the pendant stop, say a 1/2 inch or so from the jaws, that'll be fine. Don't want to get too much closer than that, but I want it as close in as I can to avoid vibration out here. And then I'm just going to try to make sure I've got it fairly straight, and I just use the ways of the lathe bed to help me determine if I'm parallel to the axis or not. So tighten that down good, and bring my rest up. You know, these don't really require any special tools. Even though I'm turning small stuff, I use pretty big tools. My main squeeze is a 3/8 bowl gouge. So you see, it's not a tiny tool at all. I'm just going to rough out the basic shape of the top side and round off the end. Alright, we've got the corners knocked off of it. I'll go ahead and just rough this down too, and take it down to round. So now when I come in with my smaller detail gouge, I'm not fooling with the corners. The other thing I'm going to do is go ahead and bring this rest up as close as I can without getting it into the jaws. Give it a spin real quick, make sure it's all right. Okay. So out here, take note of where your hole is, and then you're going to move over however high above the hole you want the top of the piece. This is probably a little too much, so I'll round this off and remove just a little bit at the top. Let's take a look, maybe just a little more. Okay, that looks fairly good. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this down just a little thinner. This is Bocote, and it can be a little brittle. So I like to spin it high RPMs and light cuts. Okay, so there's the top of the bell. And I'm going to start the bottom of the bell here, but obviously I need to leave a little bit of meat there so that I can do my sanding and polishing here without snapping it off. But I do want to establish the bottom. Okay, so that might just be a little chunky in through here. I want to maybe give it a little more delicate shape. Got to be real careful since I've already started working on the bottom. Okay, there, I like that shape a little bit better. Okay, so we'll go ahead. Well, we've got the bottom still attached with some fairly good meat there. I'm going to just sand it very quickly. 200 or 220. .320. .400. And then I have a different grit here. It's an 800 grit, but it really acts more like a 600 grit compared to these other ones. Yeah, take a look. Okay, that's polished up nice. Now I will go ahead and finish the top part above what I call the waistline of the bell. And I'm just using a little Mylan's friction polish. Doing these is really a lot like doing pins. Once you're set up to do it, you got your blanks cut and your holes drilled, you can rock it through a lot of these in a short amount of time. You could even do a CA finish on these if you wanted. The Mylan's looks really good though. Alright, so now that the top is done, I'm going to work the bottom down almost to the point of parting it off. I'll finish the bottom and then I will part it off. So first thing, make a little room for myself. Come in, drop this down just a little. I want sort of a gentle curve on the bottom. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go through all the grits. I'm going to take 400. And then swab that out. And then my 800. And just be careful that you don't wrap over this waistline. You want this to be a nice sharp line there. Alright. We'll stick a little mylons in there as deep as we can get it. If you see a little smoke, that's fine. This means that mylons is going to be nice and extra special set there. Okay. So, because I'm going to go ahead and part this now, I'm not going to have an opportunity really to sand that last remaining bit as I go. So, I'm using my detail gouge, and I'm going to burnish as I go in and cut, to really smooth that wood out. Those ingrained fibers are going to be really smoothed over as I go in. Make a little room. Try not to touch what I've already worked on here. Just come right up to that point where my curve stops. Get into the wood and really just burnish as I go in, and you'll feel it loosen up and just lay over, and off it comes. So what I have is, I know it's probably a little difficult to see here, but right up to the point where the wood separates, I have a finish that's just about as smooth as the part that I sanded back here. So now I'll take a little piece of 400 grit and I'll touch just that bottom part, being very careful not to touch the finish that I've already laid down where the mylons is on the wood. Okay, so now I've got, for the most part, I've got that sanded down. And then I'll move over to some 800, which, like I say, is really more like 600. And then we'll just dab a little mylons on there and do our own sort of friction finish here by hand. So I'll just dab that on. And get the same color and the same sheen as the upper part. All right, so very simple, easy to do. And just take a little leather cord, put that through, and you've got a little nice little necklace Bocote. You gotta pick which side you like best for the front. I think this side looks good. A little chevron look there. And then I'm going to show you real quickly here, if you want to do a necklace without metal clasps, there's a really easy way to do it. So I've got the two ends of my leather cord here, and I come over here and I do a simple overhand knot. And I want to leave as little tag as possible. I can come back later and trim that, but you can see I've got a simple overhand knot where the right cord comes over to the left cord, and then I'll take the other cord and do the same thing. So simple overhand knot. You leave a little bit of a tag here, just enough to grab. And you've got essentially a ready-made clasp. Now you have to do this large enough so that when you've pulled the cords and the knots are touching, that this circle is large enough to go over the head. But once the circle is over the head, then you grab the clasps or the knots and you just pull those apart, and that adjusts the cord to the right length. Okay, so no hardware, no metal. This is definitely a very simplistic, very natural type of necklace. And what I've discovered is people really like this type of clasp because you don't have to know how long the necklace should be. You just make it long enough for it to go over their heads, and then they can wear it long or they can wear it short, and they can adjust it. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed making these. If you have any questions, you're welcome to email me. I'll put the email address right there. And I'll be happy to answer any questions I can. All right, again, Chaz Thornhill, Bocote drop pendant. Thanks for watching.